All right, first and foremost, we give all praises, honor, and glory unto the Most High God, Yahweh. We do so in the name of His only begotten Son, who the world calls Christ, Yahweh Shai. It's your brother Chief, it's your brother Chief Priest Allah's Arban Lawyer, aka the Gorilla Hebrew.
It's the brother Hassad.
What's going on this morning? What does Yahweh Shai mean? He is the deliverer. He is the deliverer. Right? He, Hawashai, deliver. He is the deliverer. That's what his name is. Oh,
Sicarii in the morning.
Yeah, Sicarii on the wake up. On the wake up.
Like and share the video, family. Make sure y'all
Like the video. Thumb up the video. Y'all praise y'all about Shem Yahushua. How y'all feeling? How is y'all feeling? Banqueting in 1 Peter 4. Let me take a look real quick. What do you mean like clubbing?
Yeah, that's
partying.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Let me take a look.
But yeah, we can get it just to make sure.
All praise, brothers, British Virgin Islands, man. Oconee, my pops actually was just out there, man. He was loving it, in the British Virgin Islands, man. So all praise to the Most High. Brothers from the British and the U.S. We got brother, Soldier Don Y'all out in San Diego. He's from the U.S. Virgin Islands. There you go, Terrence Jefferson. 1 Peter 4.
It's 4 and 4, I think.
Take a look. All right, banquet is right here. 4 and 3. For the time past of our life may suffice us to have wrought the will of the Gentiles when we walk in lasciviousness, lust, excess of wine, revelings, banquetings, abominable idolatry. The same thing, basically like saying how everyone lives, everyone in the world lives their life just a damn party, and all get wasted.
So, yeah, that's because I think when you look at it talks about drinking, I think.
Let me see.
Yeah.
Drinking, carousing. Let's just take a look at this word, carousing. Getting just wasted. Doing things of that nature. The activity of drinking alcohol and enjoying oneself with others in a noisy, lively way. Stuff like that. That people whole life is about now. We don't, that's not the path we're walking. Not saying that brother won't get him a drink sometimes and kick it, whatever, but, we got Akim in North Carolina. Y'all got a little bit of static. No, Filipinos are certainly not from the tribe of Zebulon. What is that? That is.
This dude came on there. He said, "Address the Filipinos."
Address the Filipinos. I'm address the Filipinos. All right. All right. Isaiah 14.
There you go. That's right.
That's right, Zayaza. That's, what I mean? What, he gonna live his whole life partying? Then what? Chris Wiggins, what's going on? But yeah, all praise you. How about Shemel Shah? So y'all, on Wednesday, we had Situation Room. I'm not sure yet, truth be told. Most I want to assume. But on Wednesday, we had Situation Room. Okay? Oh God, give me this dude, man. You're in timeout. So on Wednesday, we had Situation Room. Deacon Akai every Wednesday through Spirit and Power of How about Shemi Shai. Yeah, Situation Room. Okay. If y'all notice, there's a point in time on this Situation Room where I vanish. Okay. Where I vanished to is into slumber. I went to sleep. I'm going to sleep real early lately. So Deacon and Hassai held it down. Through the Spirit and Power of How about Shemi Shai. But there was a little bit of an issue that happened. Not like a real issue, but just, it was a misunderstanding. So I'm going to play the clip, and then I'm going to explain what the misunderstanding was based upon. And then we're just going to give the correction through the Spirit and Power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. We are human. We're in the flesh. We get confused. We are mistaken. We don't always you know, we don't, not even don't always, we don't have all the answers. So the brother, the deacon was confused about something and gave an incorrect breakdown, and it happens. So we're just doing this live to kind of go over it and correct it, to make sure the proper breakdown is out through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Shem Yahushai. All right, so this is it. This is the timestamp.
Go to like 20, 40, 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
Isaiah. You say my text, Isaiah chapter 44, verse 5. One shall say, I am Yahweh, and another shall call himself by the name Jacob. And another shall subscribe with his hand unto Yahweh, and surname himself by the name of Israel.
Okay, one second.
Yeah, it just means we're going to reclaim our identity. That's all it means.
Which Hassad is on point. It's talking about us taking our identity back. It's a precept showing that we would have lost our identity and we had to reclaim it. That we're the Israelites. We had to redeclare that we are the Israelites. So Officer Hassad is on point with his breakdown. He and I had just went over this when we were dealing with one of the clips with Vocab Malone, and I believe GMS Dallas.
We forgot who we were, and we're going to reclaim our identity. That's all.
Well, let me look at that, because I think Isaiah 45,
44 and 5, right?
44.
Did he say 44 and 5 or 45 and 5?
No, he said Isaiah 45 and 5.
Oh, my bad. Okay. Isaiah 45 and 5. I am Yahweh, and there is none else. There is no God beside me. I girded thee, though thou hast not known me.
Okay, so what this brother is probably an Old Testament only brother, and he's asking about, well, what's your, before I assume, what's your question about Isaiah 45 and 5?
Was it Zechariah that asked that?
Huh?
Was it Zechariah?
No,
Yeah.
King Joshua.
Oh.
Okay, Ash asked about Galatians 2, 8 and 9. Grab that real quick. And then
Galatians 2, 8 and 9. For he that wrought effectually in Peter, give the grace.
Now go to 50, 54, or 53. I didn't.
Go to 50 minutes and 53 seconds.
53 minutes. Go to 53 minutes. So I think he's about to get it now.
So David saved the inhabitants of Canaan. The night.
go ahead.
Nehemiah chapter 9, verse 27. Therefore thou deliverest them in
What's it, 50?
hand of their.
A little bit further. My bad.
44 and started at verse 1
All
first.
right. There we go. So
Isaiah 44 and 9.
Verse 1. Started at verse
Oh, sorry. Isaiah 44 and 1. Yet now hear, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel, whom I have chosen. That's it?
Keep going.
Okay. Thus saith Yahweh that made thee, and formed thee from the womb, and will help thee. Fear not, O Jacob, my servant, and thou Jeshurun, whom I have chosen. For I will pour water upon him that is thirsty, and floods upon the dry ground.
Brush your teeth. All right, go ahead.
And I will pour my spirit upon
That's right.
thy seed, and my blessing upon thine offspring.
Keep going.
It shall spring up as among the grass, as willows by the watercourses. One shall say, I am Yahweh's, and another shall call himself by the name of Jacob. And another shall subscribe with his hand unto the Lord, and surname himself by the name of Israel.
So what that actually means is we used to think that meant we was going to remember our nationality. What that means is that we're going to Judaize these other nations in the kingdom of heaven.
Yeah, he went off. Yeah, there ain't no two ways about it. He went off, and the reason why he went off is because he confused his breakdown with another breakdown. Okay, so I'm gonna go first into the breakdown that he confused it with, and then we're gonna go back over Isaiah 44. So give me Zechariah, right?
Zechariah chapter 8, verse 23. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, in those days it shall come to pass that 10 men shall take hold of all languages of the nations, even shall take hold of the skirt of him that is a Jew, saying, We will go with you, for we have heard that God is with you.
So basically, at one point in time, brothers were under the impression that that meant that the northern kingdom was going to come to the southern kingdom and hold on to our skirts and come back to their nationality and their identity. The problem is we all lost our nationality and identity, so that's not even sensible, right? And we all lost it together, and we're all coming back into it together through the spirit and power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. So if we take a look at the context here, it's clearly talking about the other nations. So go ahead, keep reading.
That's the end of that.
Well, you get the precept ahead of it, because it's the context of that whole passage. Zechariah.
Zechariah chapter 8. Okay. Zechariah 8 and 22. Yea, many people and strong nations shall come to seek the Lord of hosts in Jerusalem.
See, the context is that the nations are going to come to seek the Most High in Jerusalem. They can't come seek the Most High in Jerusalem if we're not already back in Jerusalem. That's what them coming to seek the Most High in Jerusalem is contingent upon. Us being back in Jerusalem. What is that? Turn that off. Right? So it say many nations are going to come and seek the Most High in Jerusalem. So the context of that is heathens, right? Read on.
It says to seek the Lord Yahweh of hosts in Jerusalem and to pray before the Lord.
See that? They're going to come and pray before the Lord. Well, get the precept on that? They're going to pray before the Lord. That's in the Bible, right? Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 2, verse 2. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of Yahweh's house shall be established in the top of the mountain.
Meaning we're going to be the principal people. We're going to be the rulers of the earth. Read.
And shall be exalted above the hills.
The highest nation. The kings of this stuff. Read.
And all nations shall flow unto it.
And what?
All nations shall flow unto
Every other nation is going to flow to our nation, meaning we are going to be the predominant people in the earth. Matt Lyon, I've already answered your question. Read.
Verse 3. And many people shall go and say, Come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of Yahweh.
All these other nations are going to say, let's go to the mountain of Yahweh. Read.
To the house of the God of Jacob. And he will teach us of his ways.
That's right. All the nations are going to be taught the ways of Israel. They're going to be forced to learn our laws, statutes, and commandments. This is what this is prophecy on. Read.
And we will walk in his paths. Out of Zion shall go forth the law.
Out of Zion shall go forth the law, meaning we're going to be the people that teach the law to the nations. Read.
And the word of the Lord from Jerusalem.
That's right. That's not going to be until our kingdom is established, though. But that's the prophecy. So that's the actual breakdown that's talking about the heathens. All right. But when we deal with Isaiah 44, that's dealing with the Israelites. So after Hassad brought this to my attention, because like I said, I was asleep. Officer Hassad brought it to my attention that this occurred. So I called Deacon, asked him about it. And he told me he got it confused with that breakdown, just so y'all can understand. So that breakdown is about heathens coming and cleaving unto us. Once we have our kingdom established and us teaching the heathens our ways, right, and having them to keep our laws. That's the breakdown that he got confused with, right? But Isaiah 44 is unrelated to that. Isaiah 44 is about us reclaiming the nationality that's been stolen from us. So now let's go to Isaiah 44 and start at the top.
Isaiah 44 and 1. Yet now hear, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel, whom I have chosen.
So the context is talking to Jacob, talking to the 12 tribes, the servant of the Most High. Read.
Thus saith Yahweh that made thee, and formed thee from the womb, which will help thee. Fear not, O Jacob, my servant.
Read on.
And thou, Jeshurun, whom I have chosen. For I will pour water upon him that is thirsty, and floods upon the dry ground.
So he's going to pour water on him that is thirsty and floods upon the dry ground. That's important. Precept?
I'll get that.
That's important to understand the context of this whole thing. Because us going into calling ourselves the Lord and surnaming ourselves Jacob and Israel, that is the water being poured upon us. Us becoming a dry ground is us losing our identity. That's what it's talking about, right? We got a lot of precepts on that, so go ahead.
This is Isaiah chapter 41. I'm going to start at verse 14 and chapter 17. Fear not, thou worm Jacob, and ye men of Israel. I will help thee, saith Yahweh, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. So just to establish the point that he's addressing us. Verse 17. When the poor and needy seek water, and there is none, and their tongue faileth for thirst, proving that we're the thirsty ones, I, the Lord, will hear them. I, the God of Israel, will not forsake them.
That's right. And how did he do that? John 7:38. Let's take a look at how he did that through the spirit and power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua.
John chapter 7 and verse 38.
Uh-huh.
He that believeth on me, as the scripture hath said,
Read on.
out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water.
See that? Get John 4. All right. Out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. So what do you do with water, a river of living water? That's where you go and you get a drink from. That's where you go and you cleanse yourself from, right? It has multiple principles, but they're all key components to life. Bathing and hydration. See what I'm saying? So that's what it's talking about. Contextually, the whole thing is talking about that we became dry and we needed water, right? That spiritual water. So read that.
John 4 and 13. Yahushua answered and said unto her, whosoever drinketh of this water shall thirst again.
Uh-huh.
But whosoever drinketh of the water that I shall give him shall never thirst.
See that? Shall never thirst. So that's that anointing, that spirit that Yahushua is giving to Israel, right? The Most High set Yahushua up as the vessel to give that, right? So in understanding these things, this goes into this Isaiah 44 when it say he gonna pour water out on the dry ground, meaning he gonna bring us back to our nationality. Ezekiel 37. What you got?
I got one. Sirach chapter 15 verse 3. Talking about wisdom. With the bread of understanding shall she feed him, and give him the water of wisdom to drink.
See that? Wisdom. We've lost wisdom. Us being dry is meaning we've been totally alienated from our wisdom. Us being alienated from our wisdom means what? We need wisdom. So the wisdom is coming to us like water. If we without wisdom, which is likened unto water in this metaphor, what are we? We're dry. See what I'm saying? Ezekiel 37.
Ezekiel chapter 37 in verse, I'm going to start at verse...
Start at 1.
Okay. The hand of Yahweh was upon me, and carried me out in the spirit of the Lord, and set me down in the midst of the valley, which was full of bones, and caused me to pass by them round about, and behold, there were very many in the open valley.
There were very many bones. Dawada, tribe of Rawaban, Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barakatah, Wathawada. Go ahead.
And lo, they were very dry.
They were what?
Very dry.
They were what?
Very dry.
They were very dry. You're gonna hear the chopping noise. Y'all gonna have to just get over that. All right. These cell phones is making the microphone do that. But go ahead. Read it again.
And caused me to pass by them round about, and behold, there were very many, in the open valley, and lo, they were very dry.
They were very dry. Right. So these bones are in the valley being dry. That's what it's likened unto when we are totally just alienated from who we are. Period. We're very dry. That's what that means. So these are all precepts to prove that we lost our identity. Right? Read on.
He says, and again, verse 3, and he said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live? And I answered, O Yahweh, thou knowest. Again he said unto me, prophesy upon these bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. Thus saith the Lord God unto these bones, behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live. So
this is all. So these bones are not going to be dry, and they're going to live, and they're going to stand up, based upon how the prophet prophesies to them. So that's letting you know how this water is coming upon the bones and upon these dry places is through preaching in the spirit of Yahushua. That's how this thing is working, right? So that's how the Most High set up brothers to come out to the streets and preach to Israel and teach them their nationality. Right? This is what all these things tie into and what they point towards. So all these things are witnesses to the fact that we would lose our nationality as Israel, and then we will regain it through prophets. Starting all the way back with Elder Bivens. Even going all the way to now. Brothers you see on these streets now through the spirit and power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. All right? That's what this is talking about. So again, the brother Deacon was mistaken, and we just doing this to make sure that Yasharala is, understands this breakdown and is armed and equipped with it, because it's a further witness. Because one of the things now that the apologists are trying to come with is, well, where is it prophesied that y'all was going to lose your nationality? That ain't in Deuteronomy 28. Okay, it's not. It's all over the Bible, though. We just went to Isaiah. We just went to Ezekiel. See what I'm saying? Proving this through the Spirit. So go ahead.
John 5 and 25. Verily, verily, I say unto you, The hour is coming, and now is, when the dead shall hear the voice of the Son of God, and they that hear shall live.
See that? We're going to live. We're in a state of being dead. And we're, like I said, we're very dry. Us being very dry is not just us being off and wicked and, you know, in bondage. But that being very dry means we don't even know who in the hell we are. That goes into Hosea 1. Right? But let's keep going in Isaiah 44.
Okay, Isaiah 44
and then real quick, just summarizing Ezekiel 37. Then it talks about having the 12 tribe sign out there. So they can ask what this is about and we can tell them. All of this is showing you that Israel was going to lose their identity and the Most High was set up and anoint and ordain prophets by Hashem Yahweh Shai to do it. When did Abba Bivens or Elder Bivens start going out and prophesying and teaching the Israelites who they were? After he left rabbinical Judaism, black rabbinical Judaism, and accepted Yahweh Shai. So that's what all this is tied into. The acceptation of Hamashiach, and through the acceptation of Hamashiach, the anointing coming upon you from the Most High by Hashem Yahweh Shai, right? For you to go out and be a prophet and teach on the streets with a 12 tribe sign and tell the people who they are. That's what this whole thing is about. All right, go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 44 verse 3. For I will pour waters upon him that is thirsty, and floods upon the dry ground. I will pour my spirit upon thy seed, and my blessing upon thine offspring. And going back into that Revelation 11 and 11, after 3 days and a half, he's going to pour his spirit upon us, and then we live.
God, that's right.
That ties right back to it. But verse 4. And they shall spring up as among the grass, as willows by the watercourse.
So it's talking about us springing up with life. Read on.
One shall say, I am the Lord's.
Then we're going to spring up and say, I'm Yahweh's.
Yep.
I'm a chosen child of God.
Yep.
I'm an Israelite. That's what we're saying. Read.
And another shall call himself by the name of Jacob.
I'm a son of Jacob. I'm a son of Israel. Read.
And another shall subscribe with his hand unto Yahweh, and surname himself by the name of Israel.
And say, I am Bun Yasharallah. Alazar, Bun Lawyer, Bun Yasharallah. You see what I'm saying? That's what this is about. All right, so again, the brother was mistaken. We just want to make sure we quantify this breakdown through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Keep going.
Verse 6. Thus saith the Lord, the King, Lord Yahweh, King of Israel, and his Redeemer, Yahweh of hosts. I am the first, and I am the last, and beside me there is no God.
Keep going. We're going to 9. Right?
Okay, so like it. And who as I shall call and shall declare it, and set it in order for me, since I appointed the ancient people. And the things
What did he appoint?
The ancient
He
people.
appointed up. We're the ancient people that he appointed. Read.
And the things that are coming and shall come, let them show unto them.
That's right. Go ahead.
Fear ye not, neither be afraid. Have I not told thee from that time, and have declared it? Ye are my witnesses. Is there a God beside me?
Read on.
Yea, there is no God. I know not any.
That's right. He's letting you know where the proof of this. That he was going to essentially take us, choose us, discontinue us from our nationality, and then bring it back to us through the Spirit. We're the witnesses of this. We're the witness that he is the Most High. Right? Nobody else is. The same way that the Most High saying there ain't no other God but him, and there's nobody that's on his level, there's nobody that can mess with him, is the same way on the other end of it. There's no other people that could be God's people. There's no other God but Yahweh, and there's no other people than there are his people but us. The Jewish man that's claiming to be the children of God. How do they fit any of this? They don't. They say they can track their lineage all the way back to Moses, which is a lie. But they say that, right? The same damn way that the Most High, they all these, you got Allah, you got all these false idols out here, the Christian God, which is not the God of the Bible. And they have not showed themselves the way Yahweh has. So Yahweh has proved that he is the only power. And we have proved through the prophecies of Yahweh that we are his only people, right? So keep going.
Verse 9. They that make a graven image are all of them vanity, and their delectable.
So like I just wanted to 8. That's all. That's good. Go ahead. I appreciate what you got.
Okay, I think I got one in Zechariah 10, and then that's probably all I can think of.
Beard the bully, you shouldn't be confused. You're right in both things are right. Yahweh shot a man, came back in 3 days. All right. The collective body of Yahweh Shah will rise on the 3rd day in the case of on the 3rd. and within 3,000 years, brother. So you're right in both instances. Read on.
Zechariah 10 and 8. I'm going to just get to the point. Y'all can read the chapter. The Most High is basically raising us up and saving us in the last days. Okay, Zechariah.
Yeah, good shooting. Quick shooting, Tazapanya. Patch that boy. He's crazy. Go ahead.
Zechariah 10 and 8. I will hiss for them. Most High, he's going to whistle for us. So you know you have dogs and you whistle for them. That means that, and they come back to you. It's the same thing. I will hiss for them and gather them, for I have redeemed them, and they shall increase as they have increased. And I will sow them among the people, and they shall remember me in far countries, and they shall live with their children and turn again. Well, if you have to remember the Most High and to turn back to the Most High, that means what? You turn from Him and you forgot Him in the first place. How did you do that? By forgetting yourself.
Yeah, you forgetting your nationality, you gonna forget your God. Because even when we were worshiping idols in Israel, you can go to all the time we worship idols in Israel. You know what we still did? Acknowledge Yahweh. We was being wicked and evil as hell, but there was still they even made an idol to Yahweh, which is evil. Go ahead.
Baruch 2 and 30. For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captivities they shall remember themselves.
That's when they're going to remember. So, in the wickedness of Israel, we still remember and we still acknowledge that Yahweh was our power, even when we worship other powers, which are not even powers. When we worship wood and stone, there was still an understanding of the Most High. See what I'm saying? So for us to have totally forgotten, we must have totally forgotten who we were. There's no other way around that. And there's no other people that you can identify have forgotten themselves in the fashion that we had. The Jewish man does not purport to have forgotten himself. See what I'm saying? Go ahead.
That's very much
So I just wanted to make sure that this breakdown was out there. Because like I said, the brother got a little confused and answered this wrong. But yeah, with that, we could open up for some Q&A. I know somebody asked about a Q&A. We could do Q&A. That was quick. It's just, kind of that one breakdown. So I want to do Q&A. Maybe we get y'all next 30 minutes Q&A through the Spirit.
You see how, we could have, if we didn't have to go so deep, we could have just made it gone on service level. It wouldn't even take this long. You see the Christian pastor, he'll take 3 hours just to go over 3 verses. But ask y'all questions, family. What do you mean, Hiram? Explain what does that mean? I don't know what that means.
What he said? I don't understand. What do you mean? One of my thoughts on Purim? It's in the Bible. You celebrate it. You celebrate the death of Edomites. Few occasions are better to celebrate for. Everyone always wants a class on fasting. I don't understand why people always ask for a class on fasting. It's very simple. You don't eat. A lot of y'all overcomplicate things. What do I mean? People be like, yo, how do we keep this feast day? How do I fast? How do you keep a feast day? It's very simple. You feast. How do you fast? It's very simple. You fast. You just don't eat, or you don't eat and drink, or you don't drink. You pick something that you're going to withhold yourself from that your flesh normally will want, and you determine a specific time period that you're going to do it for, or you can do an indefinite time period, and you can just kind of go day by day, hour by hour, and you just don't do it. You withhold yourself from that. You resist the temptations and the lusts of your flesh for an allotted amount of time. That's all. A feast day, with the exception of, unleavened bread is very specific, and Passover is very specific. What else we got? Day of Atonement is specific, of course, a 24-hour fast from food and drink. And then Tabernacles is specific because you got to live in a tent. But outside of that, you just eat, brother. That's all. You just eat. If you want to fast, you just don't eat.
Yeah. I mean, really, I was shy because to break down Matthew the 6th chapter. Just
to fast. Church that you on fast is you have issues. I was taught in my wicked church that you on fast is you have issues. I don't understand what you're saying. It's very simple. What do you mean? Well, you gave me 18 verses to read, brother. I'm gonna need you to get a little bit more specific. Then I'm not reading 18 verses. Let's get to the point, King. Can we explain little ones in numbers? I'm probably just talking about kids. Didn't this nigga get blocked?
you got time out.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you just added the moderator out.
Oh shit.
There's too much hate. You hate. You hate the son. You hate God, really? Because if you hate his son, you hate him. You're talking about too much hate. You want Numbers 31?
Okay. I want to understand. I don't even see the word little one. Where's little ones at in here?
Towards the end. 17. Now therefore kill every male among the little ones, and kill every woman that has known man by lying with him.
Brother, little ones is very simple. That's talking about kids. Kill every boy child. That's what that means, brother. We're going to stop. This brothers are not going to be on the street corners. You're not going to be able to go on the internet and see Hebrew Israelite videos. That's what that's how the famine of the word is coming now. It happened before the time Most High just stopped the prophets from going out. You know, Cain and Abel did not have their own nations. There was a part of Adam. Cain went on to have his own nation, though. Abel was dead. If you want to know how to prove Ammon and Moab, go watch our videos about GMS and Vocab Malone. Or One Body and Vocab Malone, I think.
Yeah, that's going on.
Yes, of course, all of those were Israelites. Simon the Canaanite, the word does not mean Canaan, it means zealot.
Canaanites.
No, we don't have nothing in Colorado as of yet. Go back to 17. 31, 17.
Now therefore kill every male among the little ones, and kill every woman that hath known man by lying with him. But all the women children that have not known a man by lying with him, keep alive for yourselves.
Keep alive. It didn't say take them as a wife. He said it's taking little ones as wife. It don't say that. Again, it says, but all the women children that have not known a man by lying with him, keep alive for yourselves. So it didn't say keep them alive so they can be a wife. 9 times out of 10, you will put them in captivity. They're coming to basically be maid servants in their homes. Now they can grow up and become somebody's concubine. That logically would occur. But no, it doesn't say take no little ones to wives. Do you have any plans to visit the suburbs of Atlanta? Let me explain something to you, Big J. If you think there's a camp that's going to open up in McDonough, Georgia, you're out of your damn mind, brother. And what you need to do is stop being lazy and get in your car and drive into Atlanta. We got to be serious. You think I'm coming to goddamn McDonough? I went to McDonough one time and I hated every second of it. Where am I going to hold a camp at in McDonough?
Hold on, we went to McDonough, didn't we?
Yes.
Oh, hell no, we're not going to McDonough.
Where do you decide suppose or propose I'll post a camp up at?
No, we're not going.
Bring your ass into the city, brother. What are you talking about?
I'm not going. I refuse.
Tribe of Judah, what do you mean you had no way of showing him? It says it right there, brother. It's right there. Big J Poetic, I know you're not being disrespectful, but what you are being, Ak, is illogical, and to a degree, you are being disrespectful because you're saying that I, as a prophet, need to come to you when you should be trying to come and find the prophets, brother. What's the spiritual difference between Judah and Benjamin? I mean, that's pretty easy to tell, brother. All praises, Chris Wiggins. Oh, it's probably these headphones that's doing that. Yeah, now, Norcross, that area, Gwinnett, we probably going to go out there for some Northern Kingdom outreach. But I'm goddamn sure not going to McDonough. That's crazy. Moabites and Ammonites are the Chinese and the Japanese. The white man comes from Esau. J Poetic, where am I going to hold a camp in McDonough? There's people to be reached everywhere. But people from McDonough, they come to Atlanta for various things, right? They come downtown Atlanta. They go to events. They go to sporting events. They go to concerts. And we're right there where everyone in Atlanta comes to because we're right in front of State Farm and the Mercedes-Benz Dome. Centennial Olympic Park. Guess what we got today? The Bronner Brother Convention is in town this weekend. Oh, we're going to have a crowd through the Spirit of the Most High, I believe. The Holy Trinity is not an interpolation. The Holy Trinity is an all-out fabrication and lie and heresy. It's not even an interpolation. Interpolation would be a compliment to that doctrine. You know what I'm saying, brother? I'm real good. McDonough, are you crazy? If like of all the places in the Atlanta area, right. I'm certainly not going to McDonough, brother. You know, beautiful. Yeah, we don't get with them Northern Kingdom up there in the Gwinnett area, but outside of that, I mean, you know, we'll hit, you know, Decatur. Damn it, we was in College Park last week. You know, East Point. You know what I'm saying? But goddamn McDonough, Lord and Christ, brother. Next summit, Florida, but you ain't hear from me. Kana, you need to come to Atlanta though. All right, Lawrenceville and McDonough is too far. I go to Lawrenceville a couple times a month. All right, you get a good plate of food out in Lawrenceville, you know. But outside of that, though, where am I gonna hold camp at? You see what I'm saying? It's barely like outside of downtown. There's barely any place to hold camp at in Atlanta, to be honest. Because Atlanta's not the other places of Atlanta outside of downtown and Midtown and Buckhead are not urban. They're not urban enough. Camp is designed for urban environments. Right? What do I mean by an urban environment? I mean like a city that had like a block that has a lot of businesses and foot traffic on it. Not car traffic, foot traffic. In Atlanta and all these suburbs and these outskirts, and people are driving. See what I'm saying? So that's not ideal for camp because people are just driving by. People aren't walking by. You're not there to reach them and interact with them. They just see you and that's it. So camp is designed for urban environments. Super urban environments that got people walking around, not rural and super suburban areas. Yeah, like Chris Wiggins, it's just a lot of subdivisions. That's it, like all over Atlanta. It's just subdivisions and strip malls, and that's not. Subdivisions and strip malls are not conducive for camp. That's why people be like, "Oh, why y'all downtown? Why y'all?" In some cities, there's not a chief enough place of concourse in the hoods to even hold camp. It's not even gonna work like that. Okay, Big J Poetic, I can understand that. You know what I mean? If you know, you ain't gotta put your business out. I understand that. You know, that's certainly understandable. You know what I'm saying? But you know, when you are which is bigger, Yahushua or the laws? Yahushua is in the law. There's no separation of Yahushua from the law. So in the law, you have to believe in Yahushua. And you have to believe in what he says. That's Deuteronomy 18. So there is no separation. There is no one bigger than the other. The Day of Atonement is coming up on September the 7th. Beer the Bully, exactly. We downtown, we're getting, and mind y'all, we're in Atlanta. So Israelites are everywhere. So we're getting people from all walks of life. We're getting uppity brothers, middle class, hood. We're getting everybody. Period. So that's the beauty of downtowns, is you're gonna see your people and encounter your people from every walk of life, from all the different parts of town, from every economic position. They're all downtown. J Poetic, the Wadaki, how about Shem Yahshua Barakatah? Why these idiots keep saying camps are affiliated with the Masons? Because they hate camps and they hate themselves, really, and they're weak. And they want to slander camps because camps do what they can't do. That's why, brother. It's jealousy. It's envy. You know. Don Quan 20, I haven't seen your question. Athens has a large foot traffic and pretty big southern and northern kingdom. There they are, the workers. Yeah, I'm not familiar with Athens. That's possible. Where in the Bible does it talk about dinosaurs being created? Give me Genesis 1.
Genesis 1 and...
What about the 6th day?
Yeah. Genesis 1 and 20. And God said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life.
No, not that. No? The 6th day. 6th day.
My bad. Okay. All right. Genesis 1 and 24. And God said, let the earth bring forth a living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing, and beasts of the earth after his kind, and it was so.
Okay, so right there, the beasts of the earth. That would be what you would call dinosaurs, are made on as the beasts of the earth. There's various dinosaurs mentioned in the Bible. You have Behemoth talked about. You have Leviathan talked about. All right, so there's certainly dinosaurs, or what they would call dinosaurs, in the Bible. Shanny Giraffe, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't understand what you're saying. Tribe of Judah, no. Don Quan, I already answered your question. Your question has already been answered. Y'all got to start paying attention. You don't just find your Hebrew names. You know, you either got to pick one or get given one. BR, I would say no. I don't do it. I know some brothers who do it, but I don't do it. But how about Shem Yahshua Barakatah Watha Wada? Ayah Shaquan, Moab and Ammon are not just pale. There's a lot more diversity than people give credit to amongst all the people of the earth.
Yeah.
You know, go ahead. You got a point?
Yeah, and you know, a lot of specifically Chinese people, they are in a lot of regions they are real dark. But what happens is, and what is huge in China, which probably one of the biggest things in terms of the beauty market, is bleaching your skin. So a lot of these Chinese people that you think are pale, especially of the women, they're not pale. They just bleach their skin, or they may put some type of makeup on and make themselves look white.
Because they wanted to look porcelain. They had that whole culture where they wanted to look like they were porcelain. That's going back. Yeah, man. So
even with the Japanese too, they with the geishas and stuff like that, they made themselves look white. They put that powder on them to make them look white, because having white skin is the standard of beauty in today's society. When in the kingdom of heaven, they're going to start to try to make themselves look darker.
God, not. You ain't lying. Was Jason? Who is Jason from the Maccabees? You talking about?
Yeah, wicked Jason. I think is what he's talking about. There's Jason.
In the New Testament, is Jason?
The one that Justice. I think Justice and Jason is the same person.
Yeah. They haven't been ruling more than 3.5. What are you talking about? How can something that's in the law be bigger than the law? I need to understand that. That's what you need to understand. You need to stop going off of presuppositions, because there was forgiveness of transgressions of the law before the faith of Yahushua became a thing that everyone understood. You do know that, right? You got to stop basing things off of presuppositions so much. There's no stop trying to separate them. That's Christianity. That's crazy, Mikhail. They still haven't been in rulership for more than 400 years. You have to understand history. You're taking a generalization in a blanket statement and you're using it to supersede history. That's a generalization. We have been here. They started importing slaves, number one, more than 400 years ago, 500 or more than 500 years ago. But they have not been in power for 400 years. There were kingdoms in Africa that were still in power up into the 1800s. You do know that, right? There were North American Indian tribes and other tribes throughout these Americas that were in power into the 17 and 1800s. There were other, see what I'm saying? When the full, like Esau didn't fully subdue the earth until well into the 1800s. So they haven't had that full rulership over the earth that you're purporting that they had until the 1800s. That was something that took place gradually, and many wars were fought. Yeah, well, America didn't become a nation 400 years ago. America has only been a nation for 200 years. I didn't say America isn't in power. No one said America isn't in power, Watchman 44. Pay attention. They have not been in rulership of the earth for 400 years. America has not existed 400 years. America existed in 1776, brother. And they didn't have full rule of nothing. Here's a quick question. Is the America in 1776 the America of 2019? Half of America was not America in 1776. More than half.
Way more than half.
Let alone Alaska and Hawaii.
Which Alaska is big.
It's the biggest state.
So, in terms of geographical control.
Yeah, there were still black people in positions in Europe of power. The Eastern Orthodox, right? Plenty of kingdoms in Africa in power. I'm talking about in power. That Esau took a long time to destroy. A time, and half a time is 350 years, Watchman 144. A time, times, and half a time. That's 350 years. That's not 33 years, brother. 350 years. No, yeah, it's not 3.5 years, brother. It's 350 years. Give me Ezekiel 4. What breakdown do you need on Jonah and the whale? What frustrates me sometimes, y'all, is when y'all ask me to break down something that does not need a breakdown. Jonah was swallowed by a whale. Jonah was spit out of the whale. The end. There's nothing complicated about that. Go ahead.
Ezekiel chapter 4, verse 3.
Yeah, and I'm going to explain it. Go ahead.
Moreover, take thou unto thee an iron pan, and set it for a wall of iron between thee and the city, and set thy face against it, and it shall be besieged, and thou shalt lay siege against it. This shall be a sign to the house of Israel. Lay thou also upon thy left side, and lay the iniquity of the house of Israel upon it.
Lay the iniquity of the house of Israel, right? Read.
According to the number of the days that thou shalt lie upon it, thou shalt bear their iniquity. For I have laid upon thee the years of their iniquity.
I have laid upon thee what?
The years of their iniquity.
The what?
The years of their
The
iniquity.
years of our iniquity. Read.
According to the number of the days, 390 days.
So he said you're going to lay on your side for 390 days, and that's going to symbolize 390 years of being punished for your iniquity. 390 years, right? So that day represented a year. It's not a literal day, brother. It's a year. A day symbolizes each year that it went on. So what we can see is prophetically timelines work like that, where it might be 3.5 years and it really might be 300 years. Might be 30 days and it's really 30 years or 300 years. This happens throughout prophecy, brother. Go ahead.
God, 390 days. So shalt thou bear the iniquity of the house of Israel.
Skip to the 40.
Okay. Yeah, it's right here. And when thou hast accomplished them, lie again on thy right side, and thou shalt bear the iniquity of the house of Judah 40 days. I have appointed thee each day for a year.
40 days. So 390 plus 40 is 430. So our iniquity has to be played out over the course of 430 years. But he only laid on his side 430 days, but that symbolized 430 years. So when you deal prophetically with numbers, it's not literally talking about 3.5 years. It's talking about 350 years, because that's what lines up with all other prophecies like the one we just read. Exactly, Jeremy 2003. I don't understand why the brother Watchman is looking at it so myopically. Yes, Prince Bun Yehoda. Go ahead. Yes, I'm up. Shalom, Rule Richie. Yeah, rush me out, trying to break it down. Nah, it's what you reading, brother. You know, it's what happened. Real Rich, you're gonna have to wait on that, brother. You're gonna have to wait on that. Are the majority elected 1/3 here on this side, or are majority wise gonna be destroyed? Well, I'll say the majority elect probably is, but I can't say that about the 1/3. Well, no, Salakia. The 1/3 pertains to America. So the whole 1/3 is in America. The 2/3 and 1/3 thing only pertains to the Americas. It's not related to the Israelites that are elsewhere. So yeah, the whole 1/3 is here. How should we bury loved ones? You bury them. You just don't bury them in a church. You don't bury them in a suit and tie. Yeah, but as they're kicking Esau out, they're letting Moab in. Daniel 8. Yeah, 42 months, 350 days, 350 years, 3.5 years, which is 350 years. We understand these prophecies, brother, and we just explained them to you. With precept in Ezekiel giving you the perfect example. Exactly, Bearded Bully. He was never going to put Mary away. So how am I going to explain something that he wasn't going to do? He was going to conceal Mary and conceal that she was pregnant from the public, because they would be judgmental about the fact that they had sex and procreated before their ceremony. Go watch our virgin birth breakdown. It's all very simple. Go ahead. Precept? Oh. Yes, it was created in 1,000 years. Brother, we just read the precept for you in Ezekiel. So I don't have to send the info for you. I've already read it. Well, because I'm not sure. That's, you know, some ladies want to see what you're going to say. Yeah, that's going to happen, Jeremy. Galatians 3:10. What's the relevance of that verse? I understand the audio keeps clicking. Okay, so Watchmen, when was the time after Ezekiel when we went through 400 years of punishment? If Ezekiel doesn't talk about the fourth beast and his rulership, who is he talking about we went under 400 years of punishment by? I'll wait. I just told you them days represent 1,000 years. Okay, so Watchmen 144. If he's talking about Israel in the last days, in that 400 years, then that means he's talking about the fourth beast, right? Marion Navarez, yeah. Listen, the point is, Ezekiel, in the instance we went to, is referring to the fourth beast, is referring to the last days. That's the relevance of us showing a day for a year. But just so you understand, if your question is about Daniel 8, Daniel 8 already happened and has nothing to do with the last days. Daniel 8 happened during the time of the Maccabees. It's not related to now. Same Daniel 11. That already happened. Go ahead,
No, yeah, it just goes into the rededication of the temple, Hanukkah, under the Maccabees. I like the word right out.
Yeah, that's it.
42 months, which is
we celebrate that every year.
Yeah, okay. 6.5 years. From the time of the heathen came and defiled the sanctuary to the time that the Maccabees defeated the Greeks and did the rededication of the altar, where you get Hanukkah, aka feast dedication. That's what I was talking about.
Who are the modern day Canaanites? The predominant people throughout West and Southern Africa. The predominant demographic of people throughout West and Southern Africa are Canaanite people. Caden Davis, I'm not sure when I'll come back to Dallas. When put women wear pants isn't the counted? No, it's not counted as a heathen custom. I mean, if you want to say that, pants in general are counted as a custom. And he said, behold, I will make thee, and also in the last end of the indignation, for the times will be appointed.
Yeah, you just cut yourself. Watch, what does the very next verse say? And the rams which thou sawest having two horns are the kings of Media and Persia. So he's going into the Greeks.
Yeah, the Media and Persians were taken down by the Greeks. So that's that whole time period, brother. The Medio-Persians then fall into the Greeks. That tells you right there. So that Daniel 8 right there, that part has nothing to do with today. That already happened. Open up your red book, open up the Maccabees. That's those prophecies.
Yeah, and then the Most High then begins to show Daniel about the wicked root that springs up out of one of the four horns going into Antiochus Epiphanes. He's just showing Daniel thinks it's going to happen in the future. You're taking that. That's eisegesis right there, brother. I'm going to be honest with you. You're taking one verse and not reading anything. You're just taking one verse and not reading anything in that chapter.
Yeah, that's period. The end of that particular thing. Yes, you can eat on the Sabbath. The thief on the cross was not saved. Stop with your Christianity. Silla Rob, Yahweh Shem Yahushua Barakatah. The thief on the cross was not saved. Watchmen, because when Daniel got the vision, it didn't happen until hundreds of years later. That's why. It's all like the Nakawam said, if you keep reading and just stopping when you see that right there, it breaks it down. It's talking about the Greeks overtaking the Medio Persia. The brother just read the verse. Read it again. This brother's not understanding.
8:20. How would you explain this then? The ram which thou sawest having two horns are the kings of Media and Persia.
So the people in question about what you just saw are the kings of Media and Persia. Read.
And the rough goat is the king of Grecia.
And the king of Grecia. Did Alexander the Great take down the Medo-Persians? Did that happen? Is that historical? Yes. Did that happen hundreds of years after Daniel lived? Yes. Read. You believe the little horn is the goddamn Antichrist. You believe in a doctrine created by the white man who doesn't know this Bible, brother. That's what it come down to. Read.
And the rough goat is the king of Grecia.
Who's the rough goat? Alexander the Great, the homosexual. Right. Read.
And the great horn that is between his eyes is the first king. So
is the what?
The first king.
Is the first king. Alexander, the first king. Stop listening to white people and crazy weed head niggas, Ak. The little horn is Alexander. Then they came and they went all four directions. They conquered, and then he set up four kings to succeed him, and then they began to go to war. That's what Daniel 8 and Daniel 11 is about. It's practical. It's happened. Some of y'all niggas is crazy. Do not come and ask us questions if you don't want an answer. Please don't. I don't got time for this stuff, bro. You playing games on the goddamn chat because you listening to niggas that smoke weed or crackers, bro. That's the problem here. Read. It's history. This Bible have history in it. But when Daniel got it, it was prophecy. And it's clear. We don't got to force fit it. We don't got to make it some spooky antichrist that's going to rise later on. Nah, that's madness, bro. His name is Alexander the Great. And he's right here in the Bible. Read.
Where did he just post some in Daniel 8?
8 and 9.
He posted 8 and 9. Okay, let me just make sure. Daniel 8 and 9. And, okay, here we go. And
instead of making this spooky, let it be what it is, because it validates the Bible when idiots try to come against it. Exactly. But when you make these spooky doctrines and they never happen, it actually makes the Bible look bad.
Right.
It puts a black eye on it. So read.
Now here's the history. We're going to get it with the history too. Daniel 8 and 9. And what you think is the Antichrist. And out of one of them came forth a little horn, which waxed exceeding great toward the south and toward the east and toward the pleasant land. Now let's see who that is. Let's get the lining up of history. Daniel 8 and 9 lined up in history. First Maccabees 1 and 10. And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus surnamed Epiphanes.
Who did what? Keep going.
Yeah, Khan. Son of Antiochus the king, who had been hostage at Rome, and he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. And then you just keep going down and down. It talks about the evil he did to our people. You read the whole book of Maccabees. That just shows you don't read the Bible.
The book of Maccabees, brother, is that whole thing that you're talking about. Seriously. Yes, people were still sacrificing when Yahushua was on the earth and after Yahushua was on the earth. And Yahushua's disciples and apostles were sacrificing still. The Japhetic people today are the Polynesian, Micronesian, Melanesian, and Austronesian people. The children of Sheth are dealing with Moab and Ammon. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, when you read Daniel 8, it literally explains itself. It literally tells you the interpretation.
Okay, Daniel 8 and 25.
What's okay? All right. And through in Daniel 8:25, and through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify. This is Antiochus Epiphanes, by the
You
way.
think this is the Antichrist? Go ahead.
And he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many.
It is by peace he destroyed many. He went around and made false peace treaties, especially with us, and then double crossed us and killed us. This is all in the book of the Maccabees, where he came and made a peace treaty, and then when we thought it was all good, start killing 100 children of Aaron. That happened, bro. Go ahead.
He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hands. That's who he's asking about.
Oh, he's asking who the Prince of Princes is that he stood against, which is dealing with the Maccabees. When the Maccabee army stood up against the damn devil, that's who did it. Israel. We did it. So it's dealing with the Maccabees and really overall all of Israel, because we're the princes of the power, right? They're Prince of Princes.
And real quick, why don't you explain what we just brought out? Why don't you do that?
Yeah, I need to just deal with all this and negate history for spookism. I love to see that. No, Filipinos are not going to rule us. Filipinos will be enslaved. Judah Maccabee alone is not. Israel is the Prince of Princes, and that was headed by the Maccabees. Yes.
I mean, let's just see. Let me just show you how this perfectly lines up with history, and not this moron. Daniel 8:7. And I saw him, Alexander, come close unto the ram, and he was moved with choler, his anger, against him, and smote the ram, and brake his two horns, and there was no power in the ram to stand before him. And he cast down to the ground, and stamped upon him, and there was none that could deliver the ram out of his hand. Then when you read Daniel 8:20, the ram which thou sawest having two horns are the kings of Media and Persia. Now let's get 1 Maccabees chapter 1 verse 1. It said that Alexander would take down the Persians and the Medes, right? So let's see how that perfectly lines up with history. 1 Maccabees chapter 1 and the very first verse. And it happened that after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten the Darius, the king of the Persians, and the Medes, that he reigned in his stead the first over Greece, the first king. I mean, do you see how perfectly that lines up with history? Can you address that, Watchman 144? So what do you?
Yeah, if you read all the Maccabees, you wouldn't be asking us these questions, brother, because those are that's the answer to your questions. Yeah, Filipino is they just need to go and make me some pancet and shut the hell up. All right.
What do they call pho? What is it? Is that the Filipino that makes that?
No, that's a Vietnamese.
Oh,
man.
well,
Close enough, right? Ching chong. Oh man, brother, can you help me with the understanding of Deuteronomy 28:23? Basically meaning it would be hell, and we wouldn't be able to produce any crops. That's what it's talking about when it's talking about iron, and basically iron is above, it's no rain, and brass beneath, no crops are sprouting up, right? Well, Filipinos are going back into captivity.
How does it go from the Greeks, the Persians, the Greeks, all the way to the end times?
To the Antichrist. It skips over the Romans.
Right. Come on, man. And then how is it talking about the end times when the same person is talking about in 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12? It says that this same person is going to take away the daily sacrifice.
This brother believe. It's all right. This brother believe in the Antichrist. That's all. All right.
You have to accept it.
He may. It does. That's insane. That's insane. It's all right though. Weed might be fueling that. Also, I have tried to show Dominicans and Dominican Republic that they are Israelites. And they need to have faith and keep the laws, but it's hard for someone in a Spanish country to see. I mean, I don't see how it's hard for someone in a Spanish country to see when there are entire Israelite congregations that exist in Dominican Republic, in Guatemala, in Panama, in Chile, in Mexico, all over the place. So it's hard for Israelites to see in general. Brothers have to stop. Oh yeah, man, the Latinos, they're not gonna get it. niggas, oh, I tell them I'm a warrior. How about Shemi Al-Shah Barakatah Water? Oh, the Latinos aren't going to get it. Well, niggas aren't getting it neither. So what you're doing is you're being a separatist.
Right.
That's madness. All the tribes are having. All right, this nigga gotta go.
Tagalog.
All right, Tagalog. Man, that's a damn Girl Scout cookie. Anyway, but yeah, so our people have a hard time getting it. Period. It's just what it is. So you gotta go to you know, the Most High, you know, you keep just putting the word out, and you know, Most High leads somebody to you. It's just that simple. Our people are having a hard time accepting things in general. This means kata don't seem to indicate physical covering. I Sandy Giraffe, I gotta look into that, brother. I'm not familiar with that, so I'll look into it. Yeah, individualism does put a large dent in our community, for sure. It makes people beyond correction because of individualism. That's the problem. That's what camps and congregations and alliances do. They bring brothers. You're accountable. Somebody's holding you accountable. Individualism is zero accountability at all. You know. But yeah, man. Hope y'all was edified. We're gonna wrap up. Gotta get ready for camp. But you know, we're gonna give again all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God Yahweh. We do so in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. Save the water, all the super chatters, man, and Shalom.
Shalom.